can even hear the reverence you have for him, the respect you have for him.
Yeah.
And from that also, emanates you when you start respecting a number of other people. It honestly just simply implies a great deal of humility.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, at that time, I mean, he passed away when I was 10 or 12 years old, right? So, but I have so many vivid memories of the time that I spent with him, and so that, in some sense, tells me that yes,
Very influential.
yeah, very influential. And he was not because he was my grandfather, but he was a great man in many ways. So, you saw a bit of greatness in close quarters. Very disciplined. I remember every Friday he would have a Mauna Vrat. He wouldn't talk.
Oh.
The whole of Friday he was a lot into yoga. He was very conscious of his health. I remember at the age of 82, once he was staying with us, he fell down the steps. I saw him rolling down because I was there, and he just slipped and fell, but he was fine.
Wow.
So he was, quite a very disciplined person. Very.
When did Gandhi come into your life?
So I guess I kept hearing at this when I was, between 5 and 10 years old, all the stories that my grandfather used to tell me, and all the books that he used to, and all freedom fighters, not just Gandhiji. I mean, I had a small book on Ram Prasad Bismil, Bhagat Singh. So there were, I had it for a very long time. There was about 110 books, small books, each book about 30 pages, on each of the freedom fighters.
Fantastic.
And, or people who are part of the freedom movement. Chandrasekhar.
That must have been an enormous influence for you.
Enormous. So, you really get inspired.
You're not looking at yourself, you're looking at Desh.
Yeah, and
nation.
People who've given up their lives, people who've given up their careers. My grandfather was also a lawyer. I mean, people gave up their careers, people gave up their families in some sense. They all, my dad used to say that when he was active, my grandfather was active, every day people would walk in and out, and my grandmother was only organizing food. And it's not that they had lots of money or anything, but somehow they managed. And so when people subordinate everything else to some larger goals, and invest 30-40 years of their prime life in it, I think it's incredible.
Magic happens.
Yeah, so we all take a lot of things for granted, but I think that's something we should never forget.
So true.
Millions of people to believe in you and follow a path of non-violence, which is not easy.
It's unbelievable.
Right? I mean, that means you're connected.
Yeah.
You're connected. People have faith in you, and we know how difficult it is to build trust with 10 people, forget millions. Right? So I think there's something, and this is without the power of television, social media, where you can, multiply your influence so easily. This is
simply word of mouth.
Word of mouth, through your actions, through your behavior, through the travel that you built, the connect. I mean, like I said, even my grandfather would have lived a comfortable life as a lawyer, gave up everything, right? Because
so inspired.
Fully inspired. So I think that is incredible,
so
right?
Did you have a moment when you suddenly had a realization of who Gandhi was?
So to me, I always looked up at my grandfather, and to say that there's somebody he looks up to, you just kind of say that, wow. Of course, my own, in some sense, while I'd read a lot of stuff and all that, in some sense, the Attenborough movie on Gandhi also was very powerful. I remember seeing it the first time. It was like being there to see a lot of stories I'd heard, in some sense, right? And done in a manner which it was quite inspiring and very easy to, relate to.
Absolutely.
So I thought that, I don't know which year was that, 1982 or something?
I was in, it would be something like that.
Early 80s, right? I think.
So I was just in college.
So that also reinforced a lot of feelings that you had, right? So, and then of course subsequently multiple movies or books, or you just kind of have many touch points which kind of add to that. Which I don't know if you know. So Tata Steel, we started steel production in 1911, set up in 1907, 4 years plant started. And obviously we didn't have anybody in India who knew how to make steel, right? So all the entire leadership came from overseas. You had from the Americans, the British, the Germans, the Welsh. You had multiple people from different parts. Like the Americans came to run the blast furnaces, the Germans came to run the steel mill shops, the English came to run the rolling mills, the Welsh came with the coke ovens knowledge. So you had multiple nationalities and led by foreigners. And those days used to take 6 months to come by ship from the US, and so they have different stories on that. So it went on 1920, 25. Then we used to have a lot of labor problems. Okay, and so in 1925, Gandhiji sent Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose to Tata Steel. He said India's first industrial experiment shouldn't fail. So Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose was a union leader in Tata Steel from 1925 to 1929. Okay, he was a young leader at that time, and he came, worked with the unions, etc., and the management, and signed a landmark agreement in 1929 between union and management, which was towards industrial harmony, because till then there were lots of strikes. Since then, Tata Steel has not had a strike since 1929. So
Really?
so 75 years of that agreement. In 2004, we celebrated. Rusi Modi was not in Tata Steel but was invited, as well as that was during Mr. Muthuraman's time, Dr. Ghani and all of them came. President Abdul Kalam came to Jamshedpur for that function. Normally, as a president, he doesn't go for any private functions, but because of its significance to the industrial history of India,
Absolutely.
he came and he spent a day with us in 2004. So the point is, while Gandhiji is known as a freedom fighter, god of freedom, etc., but he also had that vision and that realization of the importance of having successful industry, and that to steel, and send somebody like Netaji, who spent 4 years brokering this deal and getting things. And one of the things which the union keeps reminding us is because of us that you have Indian management in Tata Steel. Because one of the points Netaji made is that over a period of time you need Indian management, because then they will understand the issues of Indian workers much better. And over a period of time that was done, and then I think in 1940 or something we had our first Indian Saroj Gandhi, not Saroj, father, I think. Was it him or somebody else? It was one of them. Yeah.
Saroj's father was in Telco.
Jahangir Gandhi, I think.
Jahangir Gandhi.
Yeah. No, he was Tata Steel. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you had people like that. The Indian management started coming in from that time. So so if you go to archives in Jamshedpur, you have photographs of Gandhiji visiting Jamshedpur and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.